सर इधर लेफ्ट फुल लेफ्ट
कहाँ से आप
President FICCI, Mr. Siddharth Roy Kapoor, Co-Chair, FICCI Media and Entertainment Committee, Mr. Sanjay Gupta, Managing Director, Star India Private Limited, and Dr. Sanjaya Baru, Secretary General, FICCI. Kindly be seated. कार्यक्रम का उद्घाटन हो गया है, सभी ने अपना स्थान ग्रहण कर लिया है. I Mr. Rashesh Shah, President FICCI, to present a green certificate to our chief guest, Srimati Smriti Zubin Irani, Honorable Union Minister, Ministry of Information and Broadcasting and Textiles. A grove of 10 trees will be planted in honor at the periphery of Sundarban Nature Park, South 24 Paraganas, West Bengal. Thank you so much. Could I now call upon Mr. Rashesh Shah, President FICCI, for the opening remarks. Along with FICCI Frames in a nutshell, as also for aligning all present with the 4-day agenda of this special event. May I now request Mr. Siddharth Roy Kapoor, Co-Chair, FICCI Media and Entertainment Committee, for the welcome and theme address.
A very good evening to everyone. I'd like to sincerely thank the Honorable Minister for making the time to be with us here today. My friends and colleagues on stage as well as off stage, welcome this Sunday evening. I thought I'd be a little bit provocative in my comments just to liven things up a bit. So I'm going to try and look at the media and entertainment industry with a glass half full and a glass half empty lens, because I think while we realize what the opportunities are and how far we've come, it's really important also to see what the challenges are and what we need to do to be able to move forward. So we're a 126,000 crore industry employing 7.4 lakh people. That's a glass half full. The glass half empty is that is less than 1% of the GDP of our country. The glass half full is that we've got a cable and satellite base of 155 million homes. The glass half empty is that we've got the lowest ARPUs in the world at around $3 or $4 per month, per person. We're the largest producer of films in the world, and that's a statistic we enjoy throwing around very, very often. But at the same time, our entire industry is valued at less than the box office of Avatar. China, which has a similar population to ours, and is around 4 to 5 times our GDP, has a film industry that's approximately 9 to 10 times our size. And we can get into why that's the case. We've got 30 active OTT platforms that are furiously creating tons of content, and it's a great time, really, for the content industry right now to be able to be like sort of making content. But I think as anyone who's working within that sector will tell you, we don't have a revenue model at this point of time that is sustainable and that can actually make sense given the sort of investments that are being made. So what do we not talk enough about? And I think we as an industry are really as guilty of that as anyone else. What we don't talk about is when you look at these statistics, what is the multiplier effect that this industry has on the rest of the economy in stimulating other industries? I spoke about the 126,000 crores really that is the gross output of this industry. What I didn't say is that there's an equivalent of 200,000 crores in gross output that this industry is able to stimulate in various other industries by the very nature of its existence. There are 7.4 lakh people employed, but indirectly, because of the media and entertainment industry, there are 23.6 lakh people employed within the tourism sector, where just one example is that after Three Idiots featured Ladakh in it, the tourism there grew by 3 times. After Dilwale was shot in Iceland, there were 2,000 visitors going to Iceland, which grew to 20,000 within the course of a year. We talk about multiplexes and the challenges that they are having being able to generate footfalls. What we don't talk about is the fact that those multiplexes, by being the anchor tenants in malls, are being able to actually generate 3 times the numbers in those malls that they would have if there were no multiplexes in that mall. Hotels, transportation, gaming, merchandise, fashion, there are so many ancillary industries that we are able to impact by the very nature of our existence, but we don't talk about that enough. This is, of course, not even discussing the soft power that this industry has the potential to wield. What Hollywood has done for the US over the last century, which is it's managed to make the American dream something to look forward to. It's popularized Big Macs, it's popularized Coke, it's popularized Disneyland as aspirational, as something people around the world hope that one day they will be able to enjoy. It's been able to take the whole concept of the American dream and Americana to the world in a way that we have the potential to do. When we were thinking about this film about a Haryanvi wrestler with 2 kids that he would want with 4 daughters and no sons, and him thinking that he would now live out his dreams through his daughters and not his sons, we hoped that it would do great at the box office. We managed to cast Amir Khan in it, and that was fabulous. What we had no idea is that it would touch the lives of millions of people in a country northeast of us with whom we haven't had a very great relationship over the last, year since we got independence. A film like Dangal managed to go into $200 million in China, and it wasn't really about the number. The fact that it managed to take a uniquely Indian story and was able to touch the lives of people there in a way that they were able to relate to India and able to understand that actually humanity is the same, people's stories are the same everywhere around the world, managed to create a certain softness in the hearts of those people in China towards our country. We can do a lot more than that. We've got Secret Superstar and Bajrangi Bhaijaan doing the same job right now in China as we speak. But what can we do better as an industry? I think we should be the first ones to acknowledge that we have not managed to sell this story properly, be it to the government, be it to the people who matter, to be able to really drive what this industry needs to stand for our country. But we believe that this is a government which is looking at Make in India as a key tenet of the way that we want to move forward, and which will truly believe that the industry, given the ancillary benefits that it is able to provide to this economy, will manage to be a partner in that. I'm not going to get into the laundry list of what it is that we think that we can work with the government to do, be it tax incentives or easing regulations or, censorship or piracy. The list is endless, and over the next 3 or 4 days, it's going to be covered in great detail. What I'm going to talk about a little bit about what it is that we can do as an industry. We can focus on structured and formal training for our technicians and for our creative people to be able to improve the quality of content within that we churn out. We can leverage data and analytics in the decisions that we make better. We can move beyond the diaspora. A film like Dangal or a film like Secret Superstar or a film like Bajrangi Bhaijaan has shown us that our stories can resonate even wider. A film like Bahubali that actually Karan was involved in shows us that we haven't even crossed over within our own country. We talk about crossing over to the world, but Bahubali was the one truly unique Indian film that managed to cross over amongst the states within our country itself. We spoke about Sridevi as being an icon, and she truly was, because when you think about it, she was one of the only, if not the only, pan-Indian superstar that existed. We need more icons of that nature. We need more films of this type. We need to maximize the platforms that we use within this industry to be able to put our content out there. We need to improve our windowing. We need to ensure that every platform is monetized to the best extent possible in order to be able to get that content viewed in the way that it should be. And we need to tell better stories. And on that note, I am going to tell you a short story. I promise I won't keep it very long, which might sound bizarre, but I promise you that it has a point. In 1995, in the Yellowstone Park in the US, they'd realized that wolves had actually not been in existence for around 70 years. And they introduced 14 wolves into the park, just to see what would happen and in order to be able to give the species a bit of an uptick. What happened? The vegetation in the park had been overrun because of the abundance of deer and elk, etc., which were actually grazing there pretty freely. What the wolves did is that they ensured that the deer and the elk were moving through the park throughout and all the time so that there wasn't overgrazing in certain places within the park. They radically changed the way that the park ecosystem was actually developing. The height of the trees quintupled because of that. The number of beavers increased within the park. And beavers, like wolves, are ecosystem engineers. They built rivers, they built dams in rivers that provided a habitat for otters and muskrats and ducks and fish and reptiles and amphibians. As a result of that, the number of rabbits and mice began to rise, which meant more hawks, more weasels, more foxes, more badgers. Their population began to rise. There were more berries growing, and therefore bears actually started regenerating there much more. The path of the rivers within the park managed to change because of that, because the soil on either side was actually strengthened due to the improved vegetation within the park. And this was done because of 14 wolves being introduced into the park. The ecosystem actually managed to thrive much better. It is a strange analogy to use because we in the film industry are called wolves very often. But in this case, we're happy to wear that mantle because if 14 wolves could do that within the Yellowstone Park and actually build that ecosystem, we believe that the media and entertainment industry is the equivalent of that. With only 100,000 crores, we are really the 14 wolves, and if you set us free, I do believe we will manage to create a huge impact on the way that India is perceived around the world. Thank you.
Thank you for highlighting a couple of facts and figures and sharing your perspective regarding the growth of this industry, and of course for that absolutely intriguing and thought-provoking story that you shared towards the end. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we have Ms. Huma Qureshi with us. Kindly join me in welcoming her with... Ladies and gentlemen, we have a galaxy of stalwarts from the media and entertainment industry present this evening. I request Mr. Sanjay Gupta, Managing Director, Star India Private Limited, for the industry address on this absolutely special and extremely significant partner, Ernst & Young, to kindly join us on stage. This report, Reimagining India's M&E sector, I request our chief guest, Srimati Smriti Irani ji, Honorable Union Minister, to kindly release this report. This showcases the growth of the media and entertainment sector over the year 2017. The M&E sector, which has grown faster than the Indian economy, reached INR 1.5 trillion in the year 2017, the growth being led by digital. Thank you very much. And now, a question-answer segment by Mr. Karan Johar, Chief Mentor FICCI Frames, with our chief guest, Srimati Smriti Zubin Irani, Honorable Union Minister, Ministry of Information and Broadcasting and Textiles. Over to you, sir.
Sorry, if I'm looking awkward and uncomfortable, that's because I am. All right, okay. This is better. Are you better off than I am? Well, of course you are. FICCI has always been home ground for me. Ever since my father was such a strong member of FICCI, and then of course after Mr. Yash Chopra, initiated me into the world of FICCI. It's been a glorious journey. Always have met so many interesting people, imbibed so many interesting ideas, and of course the possibilities that FICCI opens up have been endless. It's been a tremendous journey, and today seems even more special with the theme of FICCI being so relevant to do with the digital age that is going to storm in our lives and stay. And of course, we have such prolific members on our panel. And thank you, ma'am. Thank you. I have to graciously thank the Honorable Minister, Smriti Irani ji, for her prolific presence here. It really makes a big difference when we have someone at the center really deal with our woes. And someone who's been a part of our journey and our fraternity. It feels heartening. Let me open by saying it feels heartening to have someone at you at the center to really look at our causes and our woes. And I know we cry a lot about many things.
No, I think you've just been very eloquently addressed by Sid as a pack of wolves.
Yes.
So, and I think only a filmmaker can do that.
Well, I do believe that we have the qualities of a wolf, but you have to open us into the jungle of media and entertainment. Like Sid rightfully pointed out, that we will let the ecosystem of our fraternity thrive gloriously if you allow us to do so. Of course, Sid also projected a half-glass, half-empty phenomena about things that are and things that can be. I have to say that, ever since you've been at the fore of things, definitely we have tried to project the media and entertainment industry and put it on a global map. I think starting with what you did with IFFI in November was absolutely amazing. I think just being a forerunner as a film festival and being at the core of things and putting us on the global map in that respect was a tremendous success. And of course, are we looking for an encore in the 50th year in 2018?
Absolutely. I think that today's core idea of deliberation is in itself an opportunity to look at where the pack of wolves can head.
Okay.
The fact that, yes, we are looking at firing up our ecosystem. Rashesh was telling me that can we look at a certain number of people that we employ every year because of the industry. The challenge I see is that definitions by various entities that look into the business of content making or film making, they vary from one firm to another. So at the onset, if we can define how we look at employment from our industry, direct or indirect, then irrespective of which platform we talk about, the employability opportunities of our industry, I think you will get more or less similar kind of data. Right now, the biggest challenge is that our data varies on the basis of the platform we are on.
Right.
That is one of the biggest, I think, needs of the hour today for the industry, because even from banking perspective, what a banker also needs to understand in terms of valuation for an industry is numbers that can be fixed from a, I think, point of view of definitions which do not vary and conclusions which don't vary because of certain partnerships or certain collaborations or certain platforms. So one of the biggest needs today, even when we have conversations with international agencies about how they look at the Indian business model, they say that it just varies, depends on who you're talking to.
Right.
So today, the report that has come pegs the business at, and I believe that FICCI also projected that by 2021, we'll hit the $35 billion mark. But somebody else today said that, well, we've already hit the $33 billion mark in the year 2017. So once we come to a conclusion as to exactly what is the size of our industry, direct, indirect, what is the employment opportunity of an industry, I think that's where we can take it forward. Insofar as IFFI is concerned, I think that's just one chapter in a long book that is yet to be written. You yourself, along with my colleagues like Vani Tripathi, were a part of the government's effort to build a new bridge of communication at the Berlin Film Festival. And interestingly, the report that I received from the Indian delegation that was led by you was that it was not only about stars from India going to an international film festival, it was also decisively the Indian producers sitting there and talking just business. And I think that's another part that we should never shy away from, because whenever our contingents go to such international platforms, somehow we only position the faces that lead our projects, and we shy away from very aggressively talking about our business opportunities. And that is another aspect for which I like to congratulate FICCI, that you have a separate content business discussion platform. And I think it augurs very well for the industry. My heartiest congratulations for that.
Well, that definitely is the case. I think the communication in Berlin, which was a strong delegation represented by us, and I think the communication there definitely was that India is open to business, also a land that, you know, we offer to films across the world, filmmakers from across the world to come and film in our beautiful country. And I think that is something that the FFO that has been set up is also in the process of trying to encourage.
I feel that one of the biggest challenges we have, and Siddharth in his speech spoke about ancillary industries and offtakes, from merchandising onwards to giving a spurt to tourism to a particular locale, domestically. One recognizes that a lot has to be done in terms of industry coming together and highlighting or bringing to the attention of the government specific locations from a production point of view, which are easier to approach, go to, from a cinematography point of view, which are beautiful when shot. And when you come to these locations, then it also becomes a very, very important parameter on the basis of which we can invite international productions to come and shoot more in India. Currently, we basically depend on our old locales that we have exploited for years on end. But I think the question that we need to ask ourselves, with that the government giving such a huge thrust to expanding our tourism network, can we find those new locations apart from the traditional locations that we've been leveraging? Not only for the international community to come and shoot in India, but also for the domestic filmmaking market to go there and, you know, exploit new opportunities.
Well, everyone was very excited about the possibilities of co-productions, collaborations, and also for filmmakers to come and film. Some did have some apprehension about, you know, permissions, etc., logistics, you know, which I definitely think that the FFO is working towards strengthening and ensuring that there is facilitation offered on all those accounts as well. What would you have to say about that?
We've seen that in government till now, there are certain aspects of organizations that are working in silos. So be it the Director Film Festival, be it the National Film Development Corporation or the Films Division or the Children's Film Society. Now, when you work in silos, you basically express to the world and to your own industry that we'll view the industry as a fragmented industry, which is not the view of this government. We are hopeful that we have a committee which will bring all of these functionalities under one umbrella, so that even a filmmaker with a new concept does not run from one desk to another saying, I need support to bring the story to light. We have that filmmaker coming to one desk, let's say in Delhi, Mumbai, Chennai, or Kolkata, and saying, this is what I need. We would like to leverage our technology to ensure that the distance between government and that filmmaker needing assistance is lessened, And I'm hopeful that the industry representatives that we have invited to ensure that this umbrella organization is created will do so in terms of the pathways that they designate for the government in a given time period of 2 months. So we are speeding up that amalgamation.
process,
And our good friend Siddharth, I'm inviting him to join that panel to give the government advice, even our stalwarts like Prasoon Joshi, to be on it.
Well, I think that's exactly what my next question was, the consolidation of government entertainment bodies, and that coming together will definitely, Siddharth, in your opinion, do you think that will facilitate a fair amount for maybe collaborations and even filmmakers across the world to reach out to us?
Yes, I think so, completely. A big concern that filmmakers have had over the years was the various permissions that they need to procure at various places that they go to, where one state or a city within a state would be able to give you permission, but not another city within that state, and you'd have to go to various windows to get that clearance. So a single window shooting clearance would be tremendous.
I think that Niti Aayog has consistently worked with states to better frameworks of administration, and we are hopeful that Niti Aayog can, in our engagement with the Commission, can also ensure that they engage in a very, very constructive dialogues with the states to ensure that they understand the impact of delay of permissions. Because I think one of the biggest challenges, which was again enunciated by Siddharth, is that we need to sell our story that we are actually not only a creative lot, but also we have compulsions of time-bound implementation which impacts our businesses. And once that seeps into the mindset of administration, I think the path then becomes tad bit easier.
The other looming large issue that also Siddharth touched upon very dramatically about the China story, and of course, about how the fact that we are, like Sanjay mentioned, about the number of films that we do produce, yet our overall net value is not as strong as possibly it should be. So now Siddharth definitely said that we're not selling our story well enough, we're not really communicating what all we can have impacted. That does come down to, when I talk about cinema, it does come down to exhibition, and how that we definitely have a limited number of screens in comparison. Like, for every like 125 kilometers, we have about 8 screens. As well, no, that's not the right statistic. We have about 125 screens per million, whereas the US, we have 8 screens per million, sorry, whereas the US has 125 screens per million. And multiplexes are showing a limited growth, whereas single screens have definitely depleted and dropped in number. How do we strengthen exhibition for us to enhance the possibilities of numbers with cinema?
See, there is a dichotomy in the question and the angst that you have expressed yourself. I think the answer lies in what Sanjay said. The answer lies in Digital India. The answer lies in personalizing that experience for the viewer when it comes to content, not only creation, but also exhibition of content. We look at the expanse of our exhibition capacity only from a perspective of, let's say, multiplexes. But when you look at it from a consumer's point of view, what is the affordability of that entertainment? That is what the consumer talks about the most. And digital content then, access to content through digital means, then becomes affordable because of falling data prices. So today, if I say I want to enhance the consumer experience and not at a huge cost to the consumer, one of the things that we have never done possibly in the industry is actually sit with mobile manufacturers and tell them how to enhance the audio or video experience of a consumer only from a content perspective. So I think that is another issue which there should be deliberation upon, because mobile manufacturers themselves are aware that the better the screen experience for the consumer, the more takers for that product. There are products which are made in India. There are products which are cheaper compared to, let's say, some fancy smartphones. The consumption and the desire to have a smartphone in India is growing manifold, as has been articulated by Sanjay. The idea is, which part of the journey do we want to be a part of? We can't say we'll only be limited to content creation. We have to be a part of even enhancing that consumer experience on a small screen, because there will come a time that if the consumer personalized experience is not enhanced, that consumer will get fed up of that content and say, one will feel that it's a ricochet effect on the content, but it's not. It's more about the device which does not satisfy the consumer. So how many of us have gotten into that conversation is an idea that I'd like to throw today to the panel.
And this China story is constantly actually thrown at us in terms of a comparison. Is there something that they're doing right and we're not?
I think that, you know, Siddharth has looked at the glass half full, but then he's a producer. He's supposed to always look at it half full. And I'm looking at it as not from a vessel point of view. I'm looking at it from a point of view of we always position ourselves in comparison to somebody else. But we never define our own strengths and then position ourselves absolutely different from something which is already happening in the business. And that is why we are always playing catch up. So we need to, as an industry, and I say we as an industry because it's quite prophetic that I sit on a platform again of Star, which is actually a television channel, which is sponsoring a movie event. So will we be happy playing catch up for the rest of our lives? Or do we decide as an industry, no, we define our industry on our terms in a new fashion altogether? Because I think gone are the days where every Indian would say, Hanji, humko LA jana hai. And there is a lot of pride about the fact that yes, we are creating 60,000 hours of content, but we are creating that content very unique to us. And the other part of our strength is that we are one of the largest consumer bases in the world. Do we ever leverage that strength? Right. We always talk about humne itna content banaya hai. We need to tell the world that yes, everybody wants to go to China, and that's always good for business, but look at us. We are the biggest consumers in the world today. And what do you give us in terms of content on our terms? That is a part of the conversation also that I like to be fueled in this very particular platform.
Right, no, of course, very well said. And as I said right at the top of this conversation, that you've definitely been championing our woes, even at a legislative level. And do you reckon that there's still a long road ahead? And what changes and initiatives do you think we can expect in the year 2018?
One, the amalgamation and the creation of one umbrella organization. The other is, when you look at content creation and when you look at the academic side of the industry, many people feel that you go to an institute of mass communication and you're done. You get that degree and then you come in. Or you go to an animation school, then you get that degree and you come in. That is not how creativity can be expanded. Creativity is best when it's multidisciplinary.
Right.
And do we peg that to our student community? Do we tell them that it's okay to take technology, music, maths and philosophy and still be a filmmaker?
Right.
So that is another aspect that I'm looking at this year, where the Indian Institute of Mass Communication, we are hoping, becomes a deemed to be university, and then as a university creates an academic ecosystem where on its own it gives its students an opportunity to study every kind of subject, so that the creative instinct of that student is not inclined to just one subject, but actually enhances. The third thing that I'm extremely excited about is the Prime Minister's clarion call for not only Digital India, but also infusing artificial intelligence into our everyday life. And I was speaking to some of my colleagues and I said that not many people possibly in India understand how artificial intelligence in filmmaking possibly can enhance your consumer experience. Are we talking enough about that? We look at technology as an enabler, but have we ever looked at it from a creative point of view in terms of new sounds, new experiences? And I think that's another part of the future that I'm very excited about. When Siddharth spoke about data analytics for better management, can we use data analytics to understand the needs of our consumers? Because it tells us what are they consuming, with what kind of speed, what are they binging on in terms of viewership. And that is another aspect which I think we can leverage very well. It might seem intrusive to a few people that now as a consumer you'd want to use data analytics to understand what my needs are. But I think with a growing, expanding market, that data analytics then helps you create more of that kind of content, and the viewer then has access to that kind of content. The minute they want to switch, voila, we have another kind of a taste that we can develop for the consumer. And those are the aspects that I think that we can all look forward to.
Well, I have an interesting question, just because you've been an insider as well, and you know that we've been, of course, known for always coming with our woes, our troubles, our problems, you know, at the government level to make sure that things are sorted in the media and entertainment industry. But because you've been an insider, I would like to ask you that do you think that there are changes we need to make within? What those changes are?
We need to stop saying that we have woes. Because we are not bechara. We have an economic
No, we like to project that
contribution
sometimes to get our
of
job done.
1,30,000 crores in this economy, and we need to be very, very proud about it. How many times do we say it as an industry outside? I represent even the textiles industry. The textile industry speaks of it from every rooftop in terms of its market potential. How many filmmakers talk about their domestic market potential and talk about the numbers every given opportunity? That we are not only about Nach Gana, we are not only about, you know, somebody crying or some romantic song. We bring this much money to the table, and we bring food to the table of 3.6 million Indians. That's our contribution. Because every time, and that's why Siddharth says that laundry list, because he knows that every time somebody looks at a filmmaker, they say, "Aapko kaise takleef ho sakti hai? Aap to filmein banate hain." We do this make-believe world of luxury, and everybody feels that we must not be having problems at all. But when we concretize our stand and talk about the economic value of our industry, then people say, "Oh, such a big business? How do you manage to do it?" And that's where the conversation then changes and starts.
Right. No, truly, I mean, we've been addressed as a soft power. Of course, sometimes we become a soft target as well, but those are separate circumstances.
Yeah, but my issue is this, given that now you've recognized me as an insider, honestly put a hand to your heart and tell me how many of us manufacture that outrage because we don't have a film that is that good, but we know that we'll get the eyeballs if we create a little controversy. We are all in the business of it. It's the best kept secret which is just out there. And nobody wants to talk about it, but people will clap, and I will get a few smiles on the aisle.
All right, we won't get into that.
Yeah, of course you won't.
No, we will have to keep this. This is Ficky
Yeah,
Flames,
yeah,
so to
I
keep
know.
it non-controversial. But truly,
I
ma'am,
don't mind controversial. I thought my second name was controversy.
No, not at all. That was meant to be mine, I thought. But
No.
anyway.
I'm giving you a tough run.
Oh, No, but truly, I think with all your endeavors, especially with putting our cinema on the map by, you know, leading a delegation and with what you've done at IFFI and what you plan to do at Cannes, and we're heading towards the 50th year of the film festival, and also, like you rightfully said, you know, the communication of our cinema and entertainment, which is beyond just song and dance. It's the kind of impact Indian cinema should be having across the world and globe. And there are some spectacular films that have actually touched millions of lives and hearts. Like Sid gave us data about, you know, what is happening in China, but, you know, our films have walked like proudly on so many
No,
festivals.
I think that another strength of our films that we never ever take pride in globally, literally shout from the rooftops about, is the capacity of our regional language films. How many countries can say that I have a Marathi box office hit like Sairat? How many countries can say that I have some gentleman sitting in Kolkata called Bumbada, Prasunjit, who does films? How many of us can say that we've had a legend that we gave tribute to today who did films in 5 languages and was a superstar not of Delhi, Mumbai, but the entire nation?
Yes.
And that is another part that I want to celebrate. The more the expanse of content, the more the opportunity for local languages and local talent to come to the fore. And that is, again, I think, a hidden engine that we need to kickstart. That it's not everybody looks at the industry only from the perspective, let's say, of Mumbai. Everybody looks at just a few of us and says, you are the industry. The beauty and the strength of the industry is that we are as much in Chennai, in Hyderabad, we are as much in Pune, we are as much as in Kolkata, in Odisha, and we are also there in Nagaland.
Right.
That's our beauty.
No, that's fantastic. And on that note, I'd like to thank
Mrs. Irani for giving us her time.
You're done?
And yes, I was given a time slot and I've exceeded it already. But you're always so engaging to listen to. So thank you so much for your thoughts, your hopes, your aspirations for the media and entertainment industry. And more than anything else, the power with which you communicate the impact of the India story. Thank you so much. Thank you for being
Thank you
with
for
us.
inviting me.
That was a highly engaging and truly uplifting interaction, and I'm sure you all will agree with me. Thank you so very much for that. And now, the concluding remarks by Dr. Sanjaya Baru, Secretary General, FICCI.
FICCI Frames is more than 2 decades old. It's an institution now that many of us have actually seen from the outside. It's for the first time that I'm seeing this program from the inside. It is
तो डालने दे फोटो नहीं है नहीं ना ओके जाने दो फिर कोई डाल देगा इसलिए